Half the country just doesn't vote. At National Intervention, we treat corporate power and money in politics as addictive substances. And we use a sobriety test to see which candidates and elected officials are too under the influence to be safely behind the wheel of democracy. Here's how it works. Let's say a congressional district's voters are represented by these 10 apples. These 5 over here always vote. These 5 over here never ever vote. When these 5 apples over here that always vote, it's almost always 3-2. 3 apples for the sitting politician in power, and 2 against. Why? 'Cause gerrymandering. The politicians and party in power redraw the lines of their districts to stay in power. And voila! The safe district is born. When 9 times out of 10, it's almost impossible to break up with people in Congress, that's not a healthy relationship. And that's not democracy. So it's no surprise that half the people quit voting. They stood up to the abuse. It was a toxic, codependent relationship with addicts who used and abused their power against them, who cheated on them with their corporate sweethearts. It sucked, they broke up, and they're never flirting with a candidate again. In other words, to keep their seat, most politicians are counting on half of all potential voters to stay home on Election Day. And that's how they've kept their sweet little safe district, and how you're still in this relationship whether you're voting or not. Now, some candidates try to get those who never vote to vote for them, but they can only get maybe 5%. The thing is, that only gets votes from a sliver of the people who quit voting. That's because people who quit voting don't trust anyone who would run for office. But when non-voters find out there's a candidate on their ballot who got clean and passed our sobriety test instead, 65% of them will show up to vote. That's 3 of the 5 apples who had quit voting. Suddenly, instead of the same old, predictable, safe district, 3 apples to 2, we have 3 of the apples no one expected would ever vote, and a game-changing score of 3-5. That's enough voters to actually break up with those politicians hopelessly controlled by greed addiction. So, if politicians can't prove that they're not too under the influence of wealth and power, voters can choose recovery instead. But successful interventions mean everybody's in. So, instead of an auction, you can help build your chapter before the election. Learn more, get involved, or support National Intervention. Click on the links in the description now.